My name is Asvarischtsch. I'm currently the head designer here at Tailorman. Before I came to India, which is only recently, 2 months ago roughly, I spent most of my professional career in Europe, working in France, in Copenhagen, bit in the Netherlands and in Italy, and focusing primarily on men's tailoring and constructed garments.
How is Tailorman different from other brands?
Currently, or at least what we aim for, especially in the future, is to be, I would call it sort of a full service men's store for people who are looking for adding some sartorial flair to the wardrobe, being made to measure or ready to wear. First and foremost, we are made to measure brands by DNA. That's what we do. That's by far our biggest part of our business. And to clarify exactly what made to measure is, it's a process that assures the best fit that you can get out of the suit, and also a high level of customization, so you are able to make a personal garment. And the way the process will work is we come into one of our stores, sit down with one of our tailoring experts or made-to-measure experts, and they will walk you through the process of first choosing fabrics, then trim, your lining, your buttons, the style details, that being shoulder construction, lapel width, pocket construction, and so on. And then after that, we're going to take your measurements and create a garment for you based on a predefined block. And the aim of this is, of course, to get as nice a fitting garment, as a personal garment as possible, and that at a very attractive price point. Besides that, we offer a range of ready-to-wear, which currently is focusing on classic formal wear, but that we aim in the future to take towards a slightly more casual feel, something that would complement your made-to-measure garments for more casual occasions, that being a day off or on vacation, and that can be everywhere from a pair of gray chinos that you mix with your made-to-measure blue blazer, or it can be a denim shirt jacket or a washed unlined cotton jacket. That all represents the same idea, so handcraft, attention to detail, but is also garments that you wouldn't necessarily have made to measure. That part of the business is more reserved for business wear, formal wear, the ones where you want to look the sharpest. But then our ready-to-wear collection is when you pick up that one garment if you just want to be a little bit more laid back, a little bit more loose. And then third, we have our ethnic wear, which is keeping up with all the tradition of Indian ethnic wear, where we have a designer with many years of experience in that field who in charge of that part.
What, according to you, are important aspects while one is looking for a classic suit for an occasion?
I think if you're going to have a made-to-measure suit, it's very easy to get carried away with all of the design options, all of the fabric options, which are all very beautiful and exciting. But if it's your first suit, or one of your first suits, my suggestion is to focus on slightly more classic option. So my suggestion will always be to start either go for a dark gray or navy blue. Those two colors can go for all occasions. That being from business meeting to a birthday, New Year's Eve, everything blue or dark gray suit would be appropriate. Go for a classic configuration, notch lapel, two button, and then develop your wardrobe from there. Add your blue blazer, add your maybe a double-breasted, some summer suits, some cotton, some linens, and develop your wardrobe from there.
Perfect. As the new year is approaching, can you tell us one good trend that is coming up with the year 2019?
It's difficult for me to pinpoint one single trend. I would say where I see menswear going in the future is really more of a fusion between the casual men's wardrobe and the formal men's wardrobe. Where my feeling or the way that I see today is that most men tend to keep it separate. So you have your business wear, your classic suiting, and then you have your chinos and your button-down shirts and those things, and you kind of keep those separate. What we want to do is we want to try and fuse the two and really create, an entire men's wardrobe which are all focused on proper handcraft and good quality, basically. Kind of elevate those casual pieces of clothing to the same standards of formal business.
Okay. Once we are going for a suit, I want to know your perspective. Would you go for a customized one or a ready-to-wear when you go for suits?
If you have the possibility, if you have the time, if you have the means, customized suits are always better. It's always what you go for. It would be a better fit, and it would be a garment that you will have a stronger connection with because you've been involved in the design process. But first and foremost, I would say the most important thing is the fit. Getting a suit that sits well on your body, complements you instead of making you uncomfortable, and allows you to move freely instead of restricting you. So that is definitely some of the upsides to a made-to-measure suit or a customized suit of any kind.
Okay, so enough of questions with the suits. Now I want to know about you as a designer. What is your favorite part of being a designer?
For me, it's my biggest passion within fashion is definitely working on the craftsmanship, the construction of the garments, and working with great quality fabrics. If you combine those two, I think you have a pretty bulletproof approach in a sense. Especially when you are working within classic men's wardrobe, where you don't need to go too crazy. All of the things, most of the garments are rooted in classic menswear some way or another. If you add the elements of great craftsmanship and the elements of great fabric use, then that's something that will elevate most people's wardrobes. So in general, I would say my aim as a menswear designer is just to, in the end, to make the level of quality in the general men's wardrobe better. And then if you can add a little bit of flair, a little bit of sophistication together with the quality, then that's
okay. And when we talk about style and personality and merging them together, what is your personal favorite style when you go to suits? When you prefer suits, what's your personal style for that?
I like to mix it up a little bit. I've enjoyed dressing up for many years now. So, and dressing for the occasion, putting some extra effort into looking the best. But for me, the most important thing is always that clothing is an extension of who you are as a person. So if you can, try to communicate who you are as a person through the wardrobe, whether that is adding a bit of color or adding a bit of flair to your suit. Maybe for me, wearing a slightly cropped trousers, wearing a hat. This is something that shows a little bit about who I am, and that's something that I think everyone should aim for. It's something that people will perfect over time. It takes a little bit of time to figure out who you are and how to dress, but But again, to sum it up, my favorite way of dressing is dressing in a way that communicates who I am without being too loud about it or basically.
Okay, thank you. So I think we will wrap up with the last question for our audience. So people like you who are fashion enthusiasts, so there are young people who are still learning. So what do you want to say for that? What is like a key feature they should keep in mind while they're working in this industry?
While working or
while learning or while working?
And you're talking about like an advice for like future professionals within fashion? I would say that my advice is probably to, as a young designer, most people have this idea that they're going to come in, they're going to change the world of fashion and revolutionize it, and that is certainly a great ambition if that's what you want to do. But my advice would be to learn from your education, learn from your internships, your first professional experiences, and let that form your vision of who you want to be as a designer. And take your time. Like, don't rush too quickly into things. Figure out what it is that you want to do with the designs and with your clothing. If you want to have your own brand, if you want to work for an established house, and take your time, and then eventually you will figure out exactly what it is you want, because otherwise, if you're too narrow-minded in the beginning, you'll probably end up changing your mind along the way. So don't be too focused to start with. Be open and see where the world or where the world and your professional experience will take you.
Okay, thank you.